Wei Jing never allowed her to meet outsiders. It was a rare occasion when she bumped into Zhu Qinglin and others in the imperial study. At that time, Zhu Qinglin looked at her with a complex expression, as if he wanted to say something but held back. He stared at her for a while and then looked away. It was hard to tell whether it was disgust or admonition in his tone. No one can save you? Why did you have to provoke him of all people? Even her former classmates and colleagues didn't like her just because she was a woman. After that day, Sheng Jiaoyu dismissed the idea of asking someone to plead for her in front of Wei Jing and asking him to spare her. Sheng Jiaoyu came back to her senses. Her delicate eyelashes, as thin as cicada wings, trembled slightly twice. I was just distracted a moment ago. The dusk was gradually falling, and it was getting late. It was time for Sheng Jiaoyu to go back. She hesitated for a long while. Truly unable to stay any longer, she took a deep breath and said slowly in a polite tone, "Your Highness, I haven't had the chance to hand in the schoolwork I left unfinished to the master. May I return to my residence first?" Wei Jing gave him a deep look. The young man was slender. His swaying lapels covered his thin body. His eyes moved up slightly. The young man had rosy lips and white teeth, and his face was quite handsome. The man slightly curled his thin lips and said coldly, "So much trouble." Sheng Jiaoyu lowered her head because of his words. This angle just revealed a section of her slender and snow-white neck. Just by looking at it, one could imagine the smooth and delicate touch. Wei Jing's Adam's apple moved silently. In the dim yellow light, only the sharp and cold lines of the man's jawbone could be seen. His pale complexion showed an imposing air that made it hard to tell his joys in a nudge. The man slowly withdrew his gaze and snorted softly, thinking to himself that it was fortunate that Sheng Qingyu was from a prominent family. If this face had been born into an ordinary family, I'm afraid he would have been forcibly abducted by lechers and become a caged plaything on the bed. "Cao Yuan, see young Master Sheng out of the palace." Eunuch Cao, who was waiting outside, heard the prince's order and didn't dare to delay. "Young Master Sheng, please follow this old servant." Sheng Jiaoyu swallowed hard, keeping her expressionless little face taut, and said seriously, "Eunuch Cao, I know the way out of the palace." Cao Yuan said with a smile, "Take care, young Master Sheng." Sheng Jiaoyu left the palace before dusk fell. The Sheng family's carriage was waiting outside the palace gate. In the snowy days of midwinter, the cold wind was like a razor. Sheng Jiaoyu was both sensitive to cold and heat. The howling cold wind made her shiver. She carefully hid half of her face in the fox fur collar, and her thin fingers were also tucked into her sleeves.